When the game against Leicester came around, he did start the game on the bench, but in the second half, he came off that bench and scored a hat-trick in 14 minutes, Janusz. I mean, what a response from him. The best response possible.
Absolutely. No surprise to anybody, I hope. This moment was always going to come. I think it's probably telling, and it's probably great that it came in this way, because even one goal would have been enough for everybody to feel good about themselves. Certainly Antonio Conte, Spurs fans, and Heung-min himself. But the way he scored that, and you probably remember the first goal. He had a player open. I can't remember right now who it was, but he took a risk. He wanted that goal badly, right? And it wasn't an easy one to score, that's for sure, because of the distance and because obviously a top corner with the quality that he did. Not that other goals weren't nice, because we've seen him already, but the first one was important because he was almost as if he was on a mission. He made up his mind, he went, and as I've said, with the player that was open, you kind of say to yourself, don't force this right now. Just be part of this build-up, be part of this important goal, but yet he took it himself. And look, I mean, I'd have to imagine that Antonio Conte deep down did it with a heavy heart, even though he telegraphed the fact that he was going to change things a little bit, and he almost had to, right? He could have done it in Europe. He didn't. This one game, as you could have bet your house that he was going to sit him down at home, but it had to be with a heavy heart. So imagine how happy he must have been when he did come in the second half and played the way he played. So look, legend, one of the most important players for Spurs, and I wouldn't be surprised if quietly Antonio Conte admitted that he was his favorite player.
Yeah, I mean, because he's been so supportive of him throughout, but it's interesting when you talk about the whole situation, because he showed his support from him by continuing to play. Then he was asked if Son's drop-off was more a target for opponents or loss of confidence. He said it's half and half. He said he liked that he was a bit angry about the situation because it meant that he wanted to change it. But then when the day came and he did drop him, he said it was simply a case of rotating his forwards. And he said it wasn't important if Son was unhappy with the call. He said basically he doesn't tell his players and give all these reasons as to why they are left out. Otherwise, every game he'd be having to explain it. So you wonder if what he said in front of the cameras is different to what it is behind. But you could see how happy Conte was after this. You could see how happy all the fans were for Son as well. He's such a likable player. I just wonder, how great does Conte look now? Was this totally the right move and everything that he would have expected to happen? Was this Son reacting to being benched?
Of course, there's a reaction, but as I said, Antonio Conte has telegraphed that he was going to do it because finally he has depth, right? I mean, look at as you said, Antonio Conte is not a manager that's going to explain anything to anyone. Team is above all, and although all managers say that, Antonio Conte actually follows through that. It makes zero difference for him. He doesn't lose any sleep when he has to make tough decisions. I'm pretty sure of that. And the greatest example may be Dejan Kulusevski, isn't he? He's lost his spot to Richarlison 2 or 3 games ago for basically playing very, very well. That, to me, was a bigger decision than Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son, we knew was going to have to sit because he wasn't producing to his level. Kulusevski was doing absolutely everything. So Antonio Conte is pulling the right string, because remember when Kulusevski said it was Richarlison scoring 2 wonderful goals in the Champions League as well. Now, as we go forward, makes you wonder what's going to happen when all of them are playing extremely well. That is going to be a tough decision. It's probably going to be based on the opponents as well. And it's not going to be an easy one. But I think all these players, to a degree, have given Antonio Conte an excuse to rotate that team a little bit, with the exception of Harry Kane.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.